Hello, this is Ernie Beggs, and this is the Story Behind This Song podcast. This week we have Paul Woodward from his album Fieldrecordings. It's Albatross.
So the song Albatross is from my first solo album, Fieldrecordings. The song is a kind of a transition song, or I'd call it a bridge song. In that sense, I mean, we've been playing in the band for years, from 1995 right through to 2002. And we were playing kind of indie pop music, and now I was expanding. The band had defunct, and I was starting to expand the kind of style of music I was doing. And Albatross was still rooted in the kind of indie music we had been doing previously. So as the album progressed, I was doing more kind of singer-songwriter stuff, like songs that would have been influenced by Van Morrison, Bob Dylan, Neil Young, that type of thing. But also there's a kind of, the album is funny that way. Some of the songs you would hear kind of Morrissey and the Smiths, and you'd also hear bands like Guided by Voices, and in particular a band I was listening to was Grandaddy, a kind of American kind of strange band, but really interesting band. And I liked the way they used organic instruments, acoustic instruments, with synthesizers and sequences. So if you hear the song, you can actually hear there is a sequence running throughout the song as well. I also use my old Spectre bass and a Trace Elliot amp, and that kind of gives the song kind of an indie flavour as well. Because on some of the other songs I was using my Fender Jazz bass and Fender Precisions, and it was more kind of folky sounding almost. So yeah, that describes pretty much technically where I was at with the instrumentation. Also, if you listen to the end of the track, you can hear a kind of a Eddie Van Halen type harmonic pinch going on, and that was me playing that on the guitar. I had good fun trying to get that sound. It kind of shouldn't have worked in the song, but strangely it fits in okay. But I was just kind of messing around in the studio, and we decided to keep it. So the track was fun. Dave Frew and Michael Cairns played guitar. Stephen Ford played the drums on that one. Now also, lyrically the song is a little bit strange. Some people would say very strange. I don't know what was going on at the time. I had the imagery of kind of birds flying on the cliffs of Moher, and you know, the sound echoing off the rocks. And I suppose I was fascinated by the bird, the albatross, because it would fly out to sea for months on end. And I don't know the actual, you know, scientific facts about albatrosses, but I know that they were kind of a solitary bird, and they would fly out to sea, and they were kind of very self-sufficient, and I always felt they were very brave, you know, fearless birds that would fly out to sea. And so it was kind of a metaphor for what I was doing. Here I was doing my first solo album, and I wanted to make kind of fearless, uncompromising music, and I was kind of flying alone. I wasn't in a band anymore, so you know, that was going on as well with the lyrics. So the opening line, I'm talking about milky sun breaks a crust over milky eyes. When I was a kid, I remember I had some kind of conjunctivitis, or you know, an eye condition, and I remember I'd sleep at night, and when I wake up the next morning, I'd have all this kind of milky substance on my eyelids, and I couldn't open my eyes sometimes. I'd have to force them open with my hands. it was just some kind of eye condition I had as a kid. But I'd have like a crust on my my eyelashes, and that imagery came back to me when I was writing the song. And I was also thinking about budgie cages, where there'd always be like a piece of chalk where a bird would sharpen its beak against the chalk, and so it was more imagery that I was using. And you ever see on a bird's beak there's a kind of a crusty part as well? You see it on pigeons. It's like a kind of a, don't know if you ever held a bird in your hand and you can feel that. So that was going on. It's a bit strange. I don't know. But anyway, it was more of a metaphor song. Yeah, what else can I say about it lyrically? Yeah, I was thinking like the White Cliffs of Dover, and I'd recently made a trip to the Cliffs of Moher in the West Coast, and it was fascinating. So that's what was going on with the song. In some ways it was kind of therapeutic. A lot of songs can be that way sometimes. And I was thinking about, fishing boats, the sea, the salt water, all that kind of imagery. So anyway, that's the song Albatross. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.
Breaks a crust over milky eyes, and now she's swooping down like genius inspired. Take a walk up the steps above the rise, on a steep ledge to a sheer drop, edge of the world. Fresh winds for the Albatross, above the waves and the cliffs and rocks. He flies alone, he never follows the flock. Fresh winds for the Albatross, above the surf and the fishing yachts. He flies alone, he never follows the flock. Your name, it echoes out against the rock face, and now she's rising up to the heavens above. The sun falls, sky red, fast asleep on the seabed, and now she's gliding back, it's the end of the day. Fresh winds for the Albatross, above the surf and the fishing yachts. Flies alone, he never follows the flock. Fresh winds for the Albatross, above the waves and the cliffs and rocks. Flies